Hey, this is Scott Cole here on a rainy night in Pennsylvania. Rainy all up the East Coast as the remnants of Tropical Storm Lee merge with a cold front moving through, and we're looking at rain for days on end. But in the meantime, I still wanted to give my commentary on the stock market today. Excuse me for that little mishap there with my screen, but we're back. I'm looking here at a chart of the S&P 500 now. Our close was over here today. Let me just get my pointer going. On the S&Ps, we were down just under 9 points, about 0.75%. The Dow was off 100. The NASDAQ, I believe, let's see, was down only about 6 points. Yes, 6.5 points, so that was down only about 0.25%. And basically the market opened much weaker today on the back of weakness in Europe, particularly in the banking sector over there. So we had a big down open, and at one point the Dow was off over 300 points and then began to slowly climb back upward the rest of the day and closed near its highs. Now I'm going to put back up the chart of the S&P 500. So interesting thing today was the low basically touched the bottom of this channel that I drew, connecting the recent lows and the two recent highs. And what we have here is a channel, and it's an upward sloping channel. Now, if this is broken to the downside significantly, it can be referred to as a bearish flag pattern. I prefer to see the swings within the pattern quite a bit more narrow, less volatility for it to really be an effective breakout pattern to trade. But we could now bounce back up to the upside here, and the upside of this channel at the moment is in the 1240 range. So basically we're looking at about 100-point spread between the high part of the channel and the low part of the channel. So overall the trend remains down. Even though we bounced off the day's lows, the overall market was still down. It has to be classified as a down day. Volume was up a little bit, and you can take that for what you will. Volume has been a little bit light in the past week or so due to the weekend holiday, and so that's that. It looks to me like we might try and get a little bounce before we test the recent lows. So that suggests to me that we still have an opportunity to test these lows back at about 1120, which occurred on August 22nd, and the ultimate low in the S&P was about 1101 on August 9th. We might have a little bit of a pause here in the next day and a half, and a couple days before Obama gives his speech on Thursday about jobs, and we will see how the market reacts to that. Right now the street basically is convinced that we're not going to get a whole lot of new stuff out of that speech, so the reaction will probably be muted, and the focus will return back to economic data and what's going on in Europe. Europe is basically what's driving the market these days. Now, interesting thing that I observed today was the dollar was very strong. The Swiss bank was supposedly intervening in the market because the Swiss franc has been very strong against the euro and against the dollar, and so they were in trying to buy dollars, I guess, to prop up the dollar. And we'll see what kind of a reaction that results in for the stock market, because for a long time the stock market was going up because of the dollar weakness. That was making us more competitive overseas with our multinational corporations. So now the table is turned. Are we going to see a different psychology now if the dollar starts to trade higher? Today it closed at about a month high, up around the 76 level as far as the dollar index is concerned. So let's pay a close attention to that, and it's kind of interesting to see it rally like that considering how low our yields are in this country on our treasuries. The 10-year treasury note has closed at a yield under 2% the last couple trading days, so we'll pay a lot of attention to those intermarket connections going forward. Just wanted to point out for the day traders, you know, it was actually a good day to try and buy some longs. The way I focus on the day trading a little bit is, you know, we pay attention to the swing. So anytime we get a 2 or 3 day swing in one direction, the market tends to want to go in the opposite direction after 2 or 3 days in one direction. Now we're in a downtrend, so you know, you really still have to be careful with this kind of thing. But if you pay attention to what the tape indicators are doing, and it confirms that there's a potential for a rally during the day, then you want to look at some long stocks. So our day trading stock of the day is Alexion, and I like picking out, you know, a stock that made a nice move, and I like to you know, present it if it was a stock that would have fit our selection criteria before the trading day. And Alexion wasn't a perfect fit, but if I'm looking at long positions as far as day trading goes, I like to trade stocks that are in uptrends, and Alexion fit this. And it also met one of our other criteria, although not all of our criteria that we like to see. But in this market, if we're trying to diversify and trade some longs now and then, we can't be too picky. So this is our stock of Alexion Pharmaceuticals, and it opened up trading at a shade under 56 today. Traded down to about 55 and change, and our signal was just about 57 and a quarter or so, and maybe about a little bit higher than that, but that was our price to get in. And then scalpers had several different opportunities to pick up some decent moves on a shorter term basis as far as your 10, 15, 20 minute short term moves. So this was a real nice stock, but based on our trading strategy in bestdaytradingstocks.com, this stock would have gotten us in at about 57 and change, and we hold the position until the close. Since the trend is still down, I wouldn't be so inclined to hold any position overnight for very long. If I was going to hold overnight, I'd be very careful in the morning. I'd probably want to get out very quickly. But otherwise, we could have exited the trade at a shade under 60 bucks. So nice move. We would have made about, you know, over $2 and change. And that's not a bad thing for a long position in a market that at one point during the day was off 300 points on the Dow. So keep this in mind and check out bestdaytradingstocks.com and besttipsfortrading.com. And we'll get back at you tomorrow.